Now I'd like to bring in the host of BET News and Temple University, Professor Dr. Marc Lamont Hill. Welcome back, Marc, good friend of mine. Let's talk a little bit about AOC. Boy, she had a compelling speech at the DNC, and guess who she was backing? Bernie Sanders. Listen.
I hereby second the nomination of Senator Bernard Sanders of Vermont for President of the United States of America.
Okay, Dr. Hill, was she lost, or what's that all about?
Well, as you well know, the roll call is a traditional part of the nominating process. You know, many years it happens on the floor. It's not part of the primetime demonstration. But the person who comes in second place always gets an endorsement, always gets a speech from someone else in support. AOC has been very clear that she's going to support the nominee, that she's going to support Joe Biden for president. But it was an opportunity to show love and support for Bernie Sanders, who ran a very strong campaign. The same thing we saw for Hillary Clinton the year before.
So, Marc, is this an albatross around Joe Biden's neck, this Bernie Sanders? And again, I talk about this all the time. Bernie Sanders has become an albatross. It's the distraction that Joe Biden doesn't need. Now, Bernie could come out and say, you know, I know he said I endorse Biden and we need Biden to win. I get that, but he has to do that or he's thrown out of the party. But he still hasn't been full-throated endorsing Joe Biden policy, which really matters.
Well, what I heard Bernie Sanders say a few days ago is that Joe Biden will be the most progressive president that we've had in decades, since I believe he said since FDR. I mean, there's an opportunity for Bernie Sanders to do more on the road, and that will happen after the convention. But this was the same thing that people said about Bernie Sanders with Hillary Clinton, even though he did dozens of dates. It's not an albatross any more than Hillary Clinton was an albatross for Barack Obama. Remember, in 2008, you and I had this very same debate, and people said the Hillary people will never come on board. The people who are still ticked off in New Hampshire will never vote for Barack Obama and John McCain.
But Marc, I think Bernie Sanders did to Hillary Clinton what he's about to do to Joe Biden. He's going to distract the Democrat electorate enough where they go, I'm not going to vote for this guy. I'm a Bernie bro. I'm not going to vote for Biden. He doesn't represent what I like, and they're not going to show up. Trump wins.
Right. I think a better comparison is what Hillary Clinton did to Barack Obama in 08. And the reason I say that is because in the aftermath of...
Marc, she wasn't exciting. She had nothing going in 08. There was no one who thought Hillary... I mean, a lot of people thought Bernie had a chance against Hillary Clinton as the nominee, and that didn't happen. But Hillary going back, that wasn't exciting. Come on.
Just, you don't think in 2008 people thought that Hillary Clinton had a chance to be the nominee? She was at the top of the heap until Iowa. There were a bunch of people, particularly liberal white women, who supported Hillary Clinton. My point here is that there is a lot of support.
Obama was exciting. Obama was new. He was fresh. Hillary Clinton, it was not her turn. Guess what? What happened? It wasn't her turn. It came back to haunt her again against Trump. It still wasn't her turn. Obama was exciting. He was fresh. I don't think Joe Biden is fresh or exciting. Do you?
Do I find Joe Biden fresh and exciting? No. What I find fresh and exciting, though, is ending a presidency which has resulted in unnecessary death, a collapse of the economy, disgrace around the globe. I think this is one of those few times where people aren't voting for Biden, they're voting against Trump. And I think that just might be enough. And even the Bernie bros, as you call them, and I was someone who supported Bernie Sanders and endorsed Bernie Sanders. I have never voted for a Democratic nominee. I have voted Green for the last 20 years. And I'm sitting here like, you know what? I need to do whatever I need to do to get Trump out of office. I think there are a lot of people like me. I am your Bernie.
I don't disagree with you, but I don't know that you yourself said it's a rarity to vote against someone instead of voting for someone. That's not excitement. To unseat an incumbent president, as you well know, political professor, you know this. You need to gin up the base and have the centrists, the independents, join your party as well and vote for your guy. Voting against someone doesn't do either one of those things.
I agree. I agree 1,000%. That was my concern about Joe Biden. That was the reason why I wanted Bernie Sanders, because I thought he was someone who would energize the base. I agree. This is not something in Joe Biden's favor, but it is possible to win an election with a third party. I mean, let's look at 1988, for example, when you have a George H.W. Bush. People weren't excited about him, but they were really not excited about Mike Dukakis. Sometimes you take the best of what you got. And in this case, I think the best of what you got for a lot of centrists will be Joe Biden. And if not, we'll find out in November. But it seems to me that that's not it. But either way, that's not an albatross that we should attribute to Bernie Sanders. It's not Bernie's fault that people aren't excited about Joe Biden. And I don't think it'll hurt his campaign. Again, most Bernie folk I know are saying, look, we're going to hold our nose. We're going to go in the polls. We don't love Joe Biden, but it's a lot better than what we got.
Okay, I got less than a minute, Mark. Kamala Harris was announced as VP nominee, and the very first CNN poll after that, Trump caught up by 10%. It was a 14-point gap. It's now down to 4. Kamala Harris, do we point a finger at her for that?
When you look at the polls from 4 years ago and another 4 years ago, they ebb and flow very quickly around this time, particularly as we approach the convention. I think a good index will be what happens after she gives her speech tonight. That, for me, will be a better measure. I don't blame her for the drop in the polls, and I don't credit her for the rise in the polls if they go. I think ultimately this is going to be an election between the top of the ticket.
All right, going to leave it right there. Marc Lamont Hill. See you again soon.
See you soon.